How are you today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. We're going to go around the table so that we can all introduce ourselves to each other. Delasha is a ninth grader, and I'm the deaf ed teacher here. My name is Miss Jones. I'm her deaf education teacher, and I also handle the speech language pathology part of her special services as well.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I wish she's always had to go to a different person, but I think that's great.
Yeah, here
And-
she'll be coming to see me for deaf education as well as speech, so we're able to incorporate those things at the same time.
Well, that sounds good.
But since she's mainstream, she really doesn't come to me often, so
Okay.
yeah, I still get to see her.
My name is Miss Benjamin, and I am Delasha's English teacher.
Oh, okay.
So it's nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you, too. My name is Lawanda, and I am her mother.
All right, well, it's nice to finally meet you, Lawanda. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you for coming.
So, basically, what we're going to talk about, Delasha she's really doing well.
Really?
She's in all mainstream classes. She does not come to deaf education for any of her classes. She is fully out. I go out into math with her as of right now, but we wanted to change some of those things, and so we'll talk about those things as we go into the meeting. Basically, she does have that she had a progressive hearing loss until she did get that cochlear implant, and she's still wearing the hearing aid, and she's doing good with both of those. She's still using the FM system with the microphone in the box.
Does her general ed teacher use the FM system as well?
Yes, Miss Benjamin
Yes.
also uses it, as well as her other teachers.
Okay.
And she's only using them for her core subjects, so she's not using it in band, she's not using it in PE.
Okay.
Yeah, because she has an interpreter.
Yeah, so, and as of now, she doesn't have any assistance in science and social studies, but she does have me for, like I said, her Algebra 1. I'm her deaf ed inclusion teacher. So I go into Algebra 1 with her. So, do you want to talk about the gen ed side of things?
Sure. So I'm here today, and I'm gonna be a representative for all the teachers because they're not all able to make it here. So I'm gonna kind of discuss each subject area. I'm gonna start with Mr. Black's class. He is the algebra teacher, and so far in algebra, she's doing a very good job. She has an 89. So and for that class, she doesn't have to go into the deaf ed classroom. She does sometimes get agitated when Miss Jones shows up in there. It just kind of seems a little bit distracting for her, and she just feels a little bit more comfortable without the teacher in the classroom.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because she's performing so well, what she says is that I hover over her.
Okay.
Which basically, when I'm in the classroom, I do come over and I look over her shoulder, to kind of see how, how she's working her problems. Is she getting them right? Does she have all the steps down? And really, she's doing a fantastic job. She really is. So.
Well, I mean, I find that to be very surprising. I'm so sorry for that. I really am.
Yeah, no, it's fine, because what we do want her to do is speak up for herself, say what she does need, and say what she feels she doesn't need. So no, we're proud of her for advocating for herself.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's good, and she needs that as she gets older.
Disrespect your presence, which good.
No,
That's really
she's
good.
respectful when she says it. So no, she's respectful.
For my class, my English class, she does very well. She has very good behavior. Right now, she has an 84 in the class. She does have an interpreter for clarifications of directions and assistance with non-figurative language. We're getting into poetry more,
Wow.
which,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard for her to understand. And that's really just in general with any student, when you go into literature, it does get a little bit more complex. So
It's true.
yeah, so as far as that goes, I mean, she does have the interpreter kind of help break it down herself, which is good. Her comprehension as well, figurative language. She does have a hard time with idioms
Yes, we have.
and sarcasm.
Yes, we have been working on that actually at home.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Sarcasm, especially because her brothers are very sarcastic with her.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do it in sign and the voice as well, but it's hard to catch.
It is hard.
It is hard to catch. And so I think it's really important for her to be aware of those things, because you don't want her to become like a victim or like made fun of. You should be able to know the difference and kind of like be able to, I don't know, speak up for yourself and have something else to say to a comment like that.
Yeah, and so with the interpreter being in the classroom, what happens is if there is sarcasm, the interpreter, when she's signing, she can, kind of put some attitude with it, or if it's irony, she can kind of say it, and, she gives the facial expressions to kind of let Delasha know, okay, that's not really what they meant when they said that, so.
That's really good. I would really love to see that in action one day, so I can maybe learn some tips from the interpreter and have her brothers actually use that at home too.
Okay, well, you and Miss Benjamin, as well as the principal, could set up a time to have you observe. You would be in the classroom, so it probably would be awkward. For Delasha,
right.
but
maybe I can just speak with the interpreter on her own. I would hate to embarrass Delasha.
Okay.
Okay, well, and so as we know, she's doing really well in my class. So we're going to talk a little bit about world history. That is Mr. Green. He is her world history teacher. As far as behavior goes, she does really well. And I can see with all the notes the teachers left me, she has pretty good behavior in all her classes. Right now, she does have a 76 in the class. And she does turn in all her assignments and her homework, but she does have low test scores. And that's what's bringing her grade down from a 91 to a 76.
Ooh.
So,
I'm going to interject here. When Delasha's in the class, she does raise her hand and she asks questions. She does good on her homework assignments as well as her in-class assignments. But from what I understand, it's the test scores that are low. I went in and observed her one day while she was taking her test, and she happened to be looking around and she was really distracted. So what her teacher, her world history teacher, and we've decided that what we're going to do is when it's testing time, we're going to pull her out of there and she'll come to my classroom where it's quiet. There's generally 1 or 2 students maybe at that time, and so she will have a small area where she can just sit and take her test, and she can be more focused in a pull-out situation for her
pretty much
testing.
like content mastery, if you've ever heard that term before.
Okay.
So, do you want to go on with science?
Miss Brown is her science teacher, and right now in the class she does have a 68.
Oh, wow.
She, according to Miss Brown, she is missing assignments. When she does turn in her assignments, she does have good grades, but she's currently missing 5 grades as of right now. So that's something that you may need to contact Ms. Brown and have her set up a conference.
Yeah, she also in science, we noticed, because I do go in and I watch the students from time to time, I've noticed that she seems a little confused about some of the information that is presented in science. And so Miss Brown did say that she seems puzzled from time to time, and that she thinks she would either benefit from additional help in class or after school tutoring. And so Ms. Brown and we decided that we're going to hold off on after school tutoring and try to add in some help. So we're going to change me from being her algebra inclusion teacher to her science inclusion.
Okay.
So that I'm there in the classroom with her during science, and I can help her with whatever seems to be puzzling her, losing her. I can add in additional visual aids if necessary. Just bring in more material to make what she's learning in science more concrete for her, so that she is picking her grades up.
So she still have an interpreter in algebra?
Algebra, no, she doesn't have an interpreter. I was her deaf ed inclusion teacher.
Right.
I'm coming out of there because she seems to be more agitated and frustrated when I'm in there.
Okay.
But the few times that I've gone in on science, she's more open to my help.
Okay.
So we're just going to switch me from algebra to science, or to biology 1.
Okay.
Because that's what her science is biology.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Her Spanish teacher, Miss Cantu, says she's doing muy bien. She does state that she does struggle with accents, and
And that's just the deafness. I mean,
Yeah.
she can get the accents. She is asking Miss Cantu, to repeat it, and Miss Cantu is working well with Delasha because she is helping her with those accents. So,
Well, that's very good. I mean, as you know, we only speak English at home, so I think
yeah.
that's really wonderful that she's doing that.
And overall, according to Miss Cantu, she said that she's doing really good. She's picking up her Spanish beautifully. She raises her hands to answer questions, and right now she has a 95.
Wow, that's very impressive.
That's very impressive.
Very
Yeah.
impressive.
Very, very impressive.
So even though she has a hearing loss, she'll be trilingual.
Well, that's great. It's
Yeah.
good to know, especially in Texas.
Yes. Her band teacher is Mr. Teal, and according to him, he just had a real quick statement. He says she's doing well, she's learning so much. They have a UIL competition coming up in a couple weeks, and her grade is 100. So
Wow.
she seems like she enjoys band pretty well because we do talk about when we talk about British literature, we do talk about some old bands. And certain instruments that they used back in the 1800s, and she just gets very, very into it. Because I know in band they do talk about the history of certain instruments and music.
She actually shared that with me.
Really?
Yeah, about the drum line, which is why she likes to play the drums.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That's great. And lastly, Miss Scarlett, her PE teacher, she says she's doing very well. She participates, and they have no trouble at all. Her behavior is really good.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah, so overall, we are really, really proud of Delasha. When she first started our program in the 4th grade, she started out and she was in Deaf Ed for math, she was in Deaf Ed for English language arts, and so now she has just really grown, and so we've got her fully mainstream now.
Well, that's really good to know. I mean, I'm so pleased that she's come such a long way in all this time and she's able to be mainstreamed and successful in most of her classes.
Yeah, and what we want to do is we want to keep her going forward. We want to keep her going upward. And that's the most important thing right now.
Okay.
And so, as far as modifications for her, and before we get into modifications, I want to talk a little bit about her speech.
Okay.
Really, Delasha does not need speech. We spoke with her last week, and when I spoke with her last week, I spoke with her on a level of transition. I just wanted to kind of talk about what she wanted to do in the future. And she told us that, she wants to be a teacher when she grows up. So, but during the speech evaluation, we did notice that she has great prosody. She speaks with a good tone. She's not too quiet and she's not too loud. So, I mean,
That's really good.
she's doing great. And so she doesn't need speech. She was coming once every semester so that we could just kind of check with her and see how she's doing. But she's doing great. And with her having her cochlear implant, Collier is doing a wonderful job as far as building the speech and language. So
I'm so pleased, and Callier has also taught me some tools to do it at home.
Oh, and are you using those tools?
We are. I mean, the prosody is something I had no idea what it was, but after learning about it, I mean, that is great. Like the way your voice, I just how to teach that, and yeah, we have her do that at home all the time.
All right, well, great. So back to the modifications.
One quick question about transition.
Sure.
What does that mean?
Oh, transition is when she leaves high school and either goes into college or she goes to a job. Oh, college. Okay.
College.
Well, that's good because Delasha did tell us that she wants to be a teacher. And so one thing that we've included, and we can go ahead and discuss transitions right now, is when she gets into the 11th grade, what we have is a STAR student program, and she's an excellent candidate for this program. Basically, what she does is for her elective, she can still be in band if she wants to, but instead of doing PE, and she can have that class period to go over to a daycare or an elementary school that's ran by RISD. And she can go and teach a period with students in
like
class.
Career exploration?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's our STAR student program. And basically, this program is going to teach her, it's going to give her the experience as a teacher. So she'll do this in 11th grade. She can do it in the 12th grade. And it gives her 2 years of experience to see, yes, I want to really be a teacher, or no, I don't think that's the route I want to go.
Okay.
So, yeah, and the Star Student Program, though she says she wants to be a teacher, we have other things that kids can do.
That was my next
yeah, so
question.
it's not, okay, she only can be a teacher.
Right.
She can be a teacher. We have, well, this is boys, I know, but we have manufacturing jobs she can do. We have fast food places. We have different positions that kids can go and work in. We have janitorial, and most of these are linked with the school.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like having a class period where you're working somewhere in the ISD district.
Okay.
And it just gives the students job skills. So hers will be to go to either an elementary or middle school and work with the kids, teach a class. She can go to our preschool program, work with the preschoolers, or even our daycare that we have for students. So it's a really, really wonderful program. And she's an excellent candidate because her behaviors are great. She can function on her own. So
That's great.
yeah. So
Good.
that's what she'll do, and that is her transition plan for when she gets into the 10th grade. So, or for when she gets into the 11th grade, but for 10th grade, she needs to take a child development course so that she does have child development experience.
Okay.
So, and that's her transition plan.
That sounds good. I like that.
Okay. So let's just talk a little bit about her modifications. The deaf ed inclusion will be removed from Algebra 1, and that's what I was talking to you about. I'm going to come out of that class because she does not need me there, and we don't want to constrain her with my presence.
Okay.
She'll be required to have an assignment log for her her biology 1 because she's not turning in assignments. And with this assignment log, what she'll do is I'll check it and you'll check it as well. So she'll have 2 pair of eyes on it, making sure that she is getting those assignments
And
in.
I will sign it.
Okay, thank you. And once I get the log worked out, I'll give you a call or email you, and then we can kind of discuss how we want to work this log
Okay,
together.
that sounds great.
Okay, good. For world history, she'll stay in world history, but what she will do is during testing, she will come out and come into the deaf ed classroom to take her test, and then she's free to go back and join her class.
Okay.
Yeah. And then again, like I said, she no longer requires speech services because she is doing great with speech, and so we're just going to order her out of speech.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. That's a big deal.
Yeah. For her accommodations, she's going to continue to use the FM system, and she's going to use that in her English, biology, math, and world history, and Spanish.
Okay.
So, yeah, she'll use it for those, and then PE and band, she doesn't need it there. And her last one is she will continue to use an interpreter in English 1 so that she knows, what's going on with that non-figurative language.
Okay. Well, that sounds really good.
Yeah, so do you have any more questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, do you have anything you want to add?
No, not right now.
All
She's
right.
doing really well.
So are we all in agreement with what we've mentioned in this art today?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, great. Well, if we can go ahead and get these papers signed, then we will be good to go. Do you mind if I borrow your pen? All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank
It was
you.
nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well.
You can call me Lo.
Okay.